Hello and welcome to this brand new module on interview skills, cracking every interview. So here we are going to talk about a lot of things which is going to help you cracking the interview. But before that, I want to know a little bit about yourself. Okay. So I want you to answer these three simple questions that I'm going to ask you. Number one, what is your total work experience? Okay. What is your total work experience? Number two, during this work experience, how many interviews have you appeared for? Okay. How many interviews have you appeared for? And number three, how many of those interviews have you cleared? Got it? Pretty simple, right? So you can say I have an experience of 20 years. And out of those 20 years, I've given 8 interviews. And out of those 8 interviews, I have cleared, say, 5. Okay, that's how. So you put that in the comment section. Pause this video. Put that in the comment section of how many years of experience you have. Number one, how many interviews have you appeared on or appeared for during this tenure? And then towards the end, how many interviews have you cleared out of those? All right, so pause this video and go ahead, type in the information. Go ahead, I'm waiting. Pause this video. No, really, pause this video. Go type in this information. It is important, okay? Because towards the end, I'll tell you why I asked you. So pause this video now. Great. Okay, now for those who have done it, thank you so much for doing it. I appreciate it. Appreciate you putting in your information. Now, let me tell you what this module is going to be about and why do we need this interview skills. What do you think, ladies and gentlemen, what do you think companies look for when they hire you or when they conduct interviews? What are they looking for? Rather, who are they looking for? You're right. The right candidate. The right candidate. Okay. Now that right candidate could be you or could be someone else, but they're always looking for the right candidate. Now here, what we need to focus on, ladies and gentlemen, is how we can become the right candidate. So the number of interviews that we have gone through and the number of interviews that we couldn't clear, if you were to think about it, why do people do not clear interviews? And the answer is very simple. They were not the right candidate, right? But that's not always true, is it? Sometimes we are not able to portray ourselves as the right candidate. Won't you agree? There are times when we were ready for it, but we couldn't portray ourselves as the right candidate. And that's the reason why the companies did not choose us. So what is it that we are trying to understand here? And what is it that we're trying to do? Well, in this module, we will cover how to make sure that you come across as the right candidate. Because for any job, you have multiple resumes, millions of resumes rather, right? And there are so many candidates who are applying for the same job. So what makes you the right candidate? Now, that's the question that we need to figure it out together, okay? Now, what else we do? We'll also discuss about how can you, or rather, here's a question for you. When should you start preparing for an interview? Type it in the comment section. When should you start preparing for an interview? Okay. When should you start preparing for an interview? You can pause this video and type in your answer. When do you think you should start preparing for an interview? Most of us start preparing for an interview when we get a call. When you get a call or an email that your interview has been scheduled. Some of us who are a little smarter, they start preparing for an interview when they apply for a job. Yeah, when they apply for a job, they start to prepare for it. But you know who's the smartest of them all? Is the one who begins to prepare the minute he thinks or she thinks about moving out or appearing for another job. That is when you actually start. You know why most of the time we do not clear the interviews? Of course, you're not able to portray yourself as the right candidate, but what do I mean by that? Now imagine if you're a manager and you're applying for a position of a senior manager. You know what we do most of the time? we lay so much emphasis on the questions that are going to be asked, and we want the answers to be perfect. In fact, it should be the other way around. We should be focusing on portraying ourselves as the right candidate, in terms of portraying ourselves as a senior manager. So every answer that I give should and must reflect that I am a senior manager. But we're looking for the right answer most of the time, or the perfect answer most of the time. And that is where the challenge is, okay? Because in interviews, you will find sometimes there is no right or wrong answer. They're just looking for your mindset. Sometimes there is no perfect answer. They're just looking for you. How do you handle the pressure? And that is where we need to excel. Now, where would you get this information that if you are the right candidate, or if you're answering the questions as a senior manager? Simple. By making sure that you have gone through the job description. Now, why am I telling you in all this in just the introduction video? Because the coming videos that I'm going to portray, or that I'm going to play for you, you will be able to understand as to why this groundwork that I'm laying down for you is important. The groundwork is we need to portray ourselves as the right candidate, and for that we need to practice. For that we need to think like the position that we're applying for. All right, make sense? So in this video, we are going to cover a lot of things. Okay, we're going to cover in terms of how many types of interviews are there. Yeah, how does the screening happens? How do they know that you are the right candidate? What should you do to come across as the right candidate? And towards the end, how do you close the offer? What should you do? Right? These are basic things that we all need to know, and you should know. They lay more emphasis on your social skills than your technical skills. And that's something that I'm going to unravel it in the coming videos. Okay, so I'm really excited to show you this. I'm really excited to take you through this, and I'm sure you're gonna learn a lot from this video. I'm sure you're gonna learn a lot from this module. Okay, and like I always request, please ensure the fact that you put down your comments, put down your feedback, because the more feedback you give me, the better the modules are going to get. All right, so thank you so much, and I'll see you in the next video. See ya.